Today is Wednesday, November the 7th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to the New Moon Monthly Report. It's the first of its kind, and it's still in the experimental stage. Initially, I planned on putting the entire month in one report, and then it got too long, and I wasn't able to put it out as soon as I had wanted, so I'm breaking it up into 4 segments, one for each quarter. So the new moon to the first quarter to the full moon to last quarter, and last quarter to the next new moon. And they'll all come out in quick succession, and you can view them all at once, and or you can just wait, for the week to come. But the written portion of this report, which you'll be able to find on my weblog, will contain the aspects for the entire month. And that follows the basic idea that I'm trying to do here, which is to give folks a full month view, starting with the new moon. And I plan on including stuff about politics in other videos, where I can focus on that a little bit more. Also, I'm devoting more time to work with clients. And if you're interested, by the way, in getting an astrology reading from me, or a long-distance Reiki healing, or a guided meditation, I'm doing all of those now with clients, please contact me at mobilestar7@yahoo.com or through my weblog, and I'll leave links in the description. And I am running a special this month, so please contact me if you're interested. And we're going to start here by pointing out a new feature I'm going to include, which is a summary of the new moon and the important dates. So we start with the new moon on the 7th, so you get the degree and minute and a very quick description. And I'm also pointing out the sextiles and the trines, because I find that those are just as important to consider as the quarter moon and full moon sometimes, because they're so positive. We've got so many good things going on. So they're basically, for the sextile, it's a time of good psychological health, and then at the trine we have a lot of very creative energy. And in particular, the second trine we'll be getting is going to be on the 27th, and that'll be Moon in Leo trining Sun in Sagittarius. And I will tell you, in fire signs, it's going to be very active, a very creative time. You won't be able to stay in your seat. So I think that those sextiles and trines are good to point out as well. So again, you can take a look at the full report when it's posted on my weblog and note those important dates. Kind of keep an eye on those. And planetary summary, again, that's just included in the report, but I'll be going into the details about what's going on with Mercury. It's going to be going retrograde, and actually that's going to be on the same day that Venus goes direct, and that'll be kind of interesting. And Mars will be entering Pisces on the 15th, and Jupiter, well, it enters Sagittarius tomorrow on the 8th, and I already put out a video on the 1st entitled Jupiter in Sagittarius 2019, The Archer Returns. So if you haven't seen that one, you can check that out. So that's just basically an introduction to what I'll be doing this month. I'm not sure if this is the exact format I'll be following next month. Again, it's still in the initial stages, just kind of working on it. The idea is to kind of give you a full month right away so that I can work on other things like meditation videos, something I'll be doing in the near future, working on those now as well. So we'll start with the new moon aspect happening on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. And that'll be at 15 degrees, 11 minutes of Scorpio, as you see here. And the new moon is the most, or I should say the sun conjunct moon, is the most creative aspect in all of astrology, the most powerful aspect. It's very upbeat, and it's a really special occasion each time when it occurs. It's the start of the new lunar cycle. It's a time when your will, represented by the sun, and your subconscious mind, represented by the moon, are working in unison, and this initiates the new cycle of growth. So when we start the new cycle, we begin a journey, so to speak, for the month. And the sign of the new moon and the aspects tell us the quality of the creative energy that we'll all be tapping into. And the house location in your birth chart indicates what area of your life you need to put more attention this month. And I actually include a complete listing for interpretations for every single house, because I'm encouraging people to do that. So this month we've got the new moon in Scorpio. It brings emotional sensitivity. Scorpio is impulsive, reacts easily, but doesn't usually show it. A lot of it is kept under the surface. Does things with passion and intensity, but it could bring up isolation this month due to the heightened sensitivity to the subtle undercurrents between people. As well, we'll be getting a lot of enhanced psychic abilities, not just from the new moon in Scorpio, but the sextile to Pluto and the trine to Neptune are going to add to that. And it's time for emotional regeneration. Whenever you got the moon in Scorpio, it's time for emotional regeneration. So this month in particular, it's quite strong. So you may need to isolate yourself a bit to get your work done, and be sure to avoid social and emotional entanglements this month. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the dark undercurrents going on around you. And whenever I talk about Pluto and Scorpio, I like to mention the positive side of the energy, which is this idea that we can develop a new base emotional state whenever this kind of energy comes along, from negative to positive. So that's some basic issue in your life where it goes from a negative state to a positive state, where you can resolve an issue. And that, again, is helpful to have that Neptune trine in there in Pisces, because that helps with the resolution. And really, in that way, Scorpio can be a lifesaver, because it brings new life and regeneration where there was death. And it does this by fixing and repairing. Now, this may include purging something from your life, or adopting a rehabilitation program to address an ongoing issue that is draining your life force energy. And when I say a rehabilitation program, it could be a lot of different things, not specifically, like for drug related or something like that, but just some way to recuperate your energy. And the best part of the Scorpio energy, I think, is the resourcefulness, the way that you can tap into resources. And so that's the positive side. And then the negative side is we can feel kind of paranoid because the subtle undercurrents around us are too intense. We don't know how to deal with it. This puts us in a dark place mentally, kind of defensive, tempted to use underhanded methods to get what we want. Luckily, this trine to Neptune and sextile to Pluto is going to help transmute the negative energy and find resolution. But there was so much Pluto energy in this new moon with the sextile to Pluto that it will be disruptive and pull a lot of people out of whatever stagnant situation that they are in. And on a macro level, I think it's going to cause people to leave the system, so to speak, and start to think for themselves. Turn off the television and just say, you know what? I realize that it's all a bunch of lies, and just walk out of the system. And it's that isolationist quality that could come up. And it has both a disruptive but yet a positive result in your life if you do it right. And whatever you do, it's important to not stagnate this month. There's nothing worse for Scorpio than stagnation. So keep moving, keep your energy flowing, even if you don't think you have any. Trust me, you will. Scorpio is a never-ending resource. And of course, the moon rules the home, because it rules the sign of Cancer. So this month, a lot of regeneration around the home, fixing, repairing, upgrading, preparing for winter weather. Scorpio is collective resources, so it's time to collect wood for winter, figuratively and maybe even literally speaking, if that's how you heat your house. But that's the idea. So you might be spending a little more time at home, but it's usually well worth it. A lot of regeneration. And again, I want to point out this Jupiter quincunx Uranus energy. I spoke about it in the Jupiter video, but I really want to mention it again. It's very close at the new moon as well, as you can see, 29 degrees of Scorpio to 29 degrees of Aries. And it weighs heavily into the transformational energies going on around us right now. Once again, with the quincunx, a precise adjustment occurs. We're carried along by forces set in motion a while ago, and now we can only just watch them play out. It kind of sounds like the midterms. And it adds a lot of energy for change and individuality right at the start. Very independent thinking will pull folks out of the system. Once again, another indication with this Uranus quincunx Jupiter of people being unhappy with the social order and seeking a more independent way of life. And, you know, because this is a whole brand new growth cycle with Jupiter and with this quincunx to Uranus, people are really going to be seeking an independent way of life for this new Jupiter cycle. In this Jupiter cycle, the way each of us grows is going to be a very unique expression of who we are as individuals. And all of this Uranus energy makes this Jupiter cycle different from those in the past. We'll feel compelled to make it very different and unique. And that noble Sagittarian principle that you must not waste your creative talents comes with a nice dose of compulsion to evolve, because Uranus rules your process of evolution. So that's a really, I would say, rebellious, in a way, setup, but one in which will not necessarily result in upheaval in your life, but rather a quiet transformation that you can make on your own to kind of pull yourself out of the system. And I think a lot of people are going to be doing that this month. As usual, you want to check where the new moon falls in your birth chart. So here I've got a complete listing by each house. I'm not going to go through each one. Once again, I'll leave it for my weblog, and you can check them there if you like. And you can even copy and paste and download it, you know, for your own pleasure. So I've got that there, and I'll probably include something like that at the start of each month. And then finishing up in the afternoon on Wednesday the 7th, which actually has passed because this video is coming out in the evening of the 7th. But you probably noticed it. The moon sextile Pluto this afternoon. Strong emotions kind of just beneath the surface. Very driven to success. That sextile from Scorpio to Capricorn enables us to make a breakthrough, usually good for our career. Okay, moving along to Thursday, November the 8th. We start in the middle of the night with the moon square Mars. This one's very volatile, headstrong. It's not a good time for social interactions. Probably good that it's in the middle of the night. And then we've got a void, of course, begins and will continue until later in the morning, around 11 a.m. Pacific time, when the moon enters Sagittarius. And the description for Jupiter in Sagittarius, as you can imagine, was quite long, about an hour. So I'll leave you to just watch that video. It's just really the most important event this month, and it's happening on the morning of the 8th. And it's all about Jupiter beginning this new, very unique 12-year cycle of growth. And to join Jupiter, we've got the moon entering Sagittarius in the morning, just before noon. So we're more optimistic for the next few days, and we'll bring abundant good feelings. It's kind of special this time. It will bring people together over the next few days. Lots of philosophical discussions, as people will be in the mood to talk about all of their new plans for growth. And then, of course, we've got the moon conjunct Jupiter. So it's just a really abundant day on Thursday. A lot of good feelings all around. People in a good mood, desire to be in a crowd on Thursday evening. A lot of people will probably be out having a good time. You know, a big appetite, generous and forgiving mood towards others. So it's just a really great night for social occasions. Okay, moving along to Friday, November the 9th. We've got Moon conjunct Mercury early in the morning. So the conscious mind and the subconscious mind work in unison at this time. So the nervous system seems to function better. And all of the things that you need to do with a good functioning nervous system. Clear mind, more intuition, and basically just better able to deal with life. And then a really great aspect on Friday, Venus trine Mars. So this one will be at 26 degrees of Libra to 26 degrees of Aquarius. Good physical and emotional health. Harmony between the sexes. As you can imagine, it's romantic, desire to spend time with your partner. Desire for money. After all, it rules Taurus. And in air signs, you may come up with some good ideas to make money. Very intellectual. Desire to be outside and feel the fresh air. It's great, once again, for all social occasions. So on Friday, many folks may not feel like attending to duty and responsibility with this Mars in Aquarius, saying, hey, I want to have a good time. I want to have pleasant surroundings, be around pleasant people, and, good conversations. That's Venus. Be with your partner. So that'll be Friday morning, but sure, it'll last for the whole day. And then around midday on Friday in the early afternoon, we've got the Moon square Neptune. So in these signs, Sagittarius to Pisces, it's very expansive. Lots of emotional energy, but we're easily deluded and the mind wanders into fantasy, and it's not a good time to make decisions. Poor judgment with that one. Okay, moving along to Saturday, November the 10th. Moon in Sagittarius has us on the move all day today. Another upbeat day. Basically several of them in a row. What a great entrance for Jupiter in Sag. So we start with just before noon, the Moon sextile Venus as is congenial, balanced, and talkative. And then the Moon sextile Mars. So the Moon basically goes right in between that trine on Saturday morning. So that one gives us lots of physical energy. Feel really liberated, especially in these signs, Sagittarius and Aquarius. Desire for freedom and independence, want to move around, spend time with friends, and make new connections. And as I've explained many times, this combination is excellent for yoga. And then the great moon aspects continue with Moon trine Uranus. Very ambitious, liberated once again. Good time to make new friends and new acquaintances. And I should say it's a very creative time. Okay, so those fire trines, you want to pay special attention to them because they're very active. So you really move about, you really get out of your seat, and you want to do something. So here we've got the Moon trine Uranus and fire signs. That's definitely going to get people on the move on Saturday evening. And then we've got Avoid a Course begins, but it's very short. Was it only 20 minutes long until the Moon enters Capricorn. So we're more focused on duty and responsibility for the next couple of days, attending to issues related to long-term survival. Moving into Sunday morning, November the 11th, we're going to be having Sun sextile Pluto. And that one's going to be 19 degrees of Scorpio to 19 degrees of Capricorn. So today your creative energy will not be denied. Powerful energy of Pluto acts in a way that is disruptive, but brings a change for the better. Able to make a breakthrough today, maybe in your career, or pursue ways to make money. Makes us very focused and determined with our creative energy. Gives us lots of stamina, highly resourceful. Those are the really key words here, because you've got Sun in the sign of Scorpio, sextiling Pluto. And that is what is going to make you so resourceful and able to get lots of work done on your own if necessary, especially in the early hours of the day on Sunday. Temperament is reserved but intense, passionate but a desire to avoid anything undignified. So this is a real great energy that you want to apply to something that needs repair or fixing. You need to regenerate something. You can't hold this energy back. It would be like trying to stop a lava flow. You really need to apply it to something useful and vital in your life, because you got all this physical energy to do this. And as I was saying, it's in effect at the new moon, as I was talking about the Pluto sextiles, and this energy is very transformative. So it's going to make changes in your life. You will be compelled to do things in a way that breaks you out of stagnant patterns and moves you into something new. So that's where that disruptive energy comes from. If you're in a rut, this one will really break you out of it. And as well, on a macro scale, I was talking about this earlier, about people being pulled out of the system and really beginning to think on their own, becoming more dependent and highly resourceful on their own. You know, you learn how to draw from the communal well for yourself, and you don't ask for permission with this aspect. You just feel like it's yours, you own it, and you don't need to ask anyone for permission. So you start a task or project under this aspect, you will not stop until you're done. And it's a really great energy to take a hold of, because, like I said, this Pluto energy, it's disruptive, but boy, if you can really grab a hold of it, it does wonderful things in your life. So we've also got the moon conjunct Saturn on Sunday morning. Now this is going to give us kind of a somber mood as emotions contract and we're not as available for others as usual, feeling rather reflective, thinking about long-term survival needs and getting in touch with what you need to do in life. You know, your responsibilities. So isolation or a quiet place is preferred. After all, this is the time once each month for emotional restructuring. It occurs at this aspect. It's a time for therapy. Seek the counsel of a trusted friend or counselor. And I find that meditation is very fruitful now. So you can really parent yourself well and get really good, useful information from higher self. So that's a really good thing to think about on Sunday morning. And with this very intense Sun sextile Pluto going on, you certainly will be able to dig deep and focus. Okay, and then late in the evening on Sunday, we've got the moon sextile Neptune, a wonderful late evening kind of an aspect. Makes us very sensitive, desire to reach out to others and make a spiritual connection. And because it's that fourth quadrant sextile from Capricorn to Pisces, we're really concerned about the needs of others and want to help others. So that's a really great bunch of aspects happening on Saturday. And moving into Sunday in the morning, moon conjunct Pluto. Okay, more of that in Pluto energy. This one makes us impulsive. Intense emotions enable you to reform your base emotional state from positive to negative. So something may occur around this time, especially since we're doing so much of that with this new moon. And now comes the moon conjunct Pluto. So you can imagine something would come up that would enable you to make that change this month. Maybe that energy will manifest, that energy for this month will manifest around that time for you on Monday morning. And as always with the moon conjunct Pluto, desire to fix and repair things around the home, and you want to avoid social entanglements and jealousy and paranoia and all those kind of dark energies around this time. That's why people kind of isolate themselves. You know, when you're getting that resourceful energy, you kind of need to use it for yourself a bit first, kind of be a little selfish, and use that for your own transformational needs before you get swept up into somebody else's drama and lose it that way. And then we're coming up on the first sextile on Monday in the early afternoon, the moon sextile sun. And as I mentioned earlier, it's always a time of good psychological health. Good time to relate to other people. Inhibitions subside and we can let our creativity flow easily. And it's one of the 4 positive aspects that we should take special note of each month. And then we've got the moon square Venus late in the evening on Monday. So that one possibly has us feeling disappointed in relationships. And it's harder to relate to others with that kind of square going on. And moving along to Tuesday, the 13th. We start in the morning with moon square Uranus. This one gives us heightened awareness of our social condition. And it's kind of an interesting thing because, it is a square to Uranus, so it makes us a little bit disagreeable and hard to relate to one another because we're feeling rather independent. But at the same time, Uranus is intelligent. So it does bring us heightened awareness of our social condition, which, if it's not doing too good, makes us kind of restless, maybe rebellious, more aware of what's going on around us. It's really not a good time for social interactions because people are just too independent. And then we've got another short void of course until the moon enters Aquarius on Tuesday morning. So activities tend to focus more on social obligations for the next couple of days, feeling liberated and need to go your own way, rather uninhibited but somewhat impersonal. It's a good time for social activities. And then in the morning on Tuesday, moon sextile Jupiter. So the inhibitions subside, especially in these signs, Sag to Aquarius, feeling very liberated, desire to stretch, maybe be in a crowd, expand your horizons, meet new people, maybe make an important connection. Excellent for social endeavors. Folks are open-minded and idealistic, and you have lots of bright ideas around these kind of aspects. As well, with the next one we're having on the morning of Wednesday the 14th, moon sextile Mercury, the same signs, Sagittarius to Aquarius. So we're mentally liberated here, can think easier with less worries, idealistic and open-minded, lots of stimulating conversations as everyone feels like talking. Folks have an easy time saying whatever they feel. So it's an excellent time for writing and communication or doing anything with your hands. Lots of dexterity, likely an abundance of communication now, more internet activities, because that new technology, that's Aquarius, and Sagittarius loves to broadcast, so there'll probably be a lot of internet activity, emails, and all that kind of sort of stuff. Okay, moving along to Thursday, November the 15th, and we start out very early in the morning, so this one is going to be in effect on Wednesday evening as well. Very wonderful. Mars sextile Uranus. So that's going to be 29 degrees of Aquarius to 29 degrees of Aries. So just as Mars is about to leave Aquarius, it enters Pisces later today and enters its death cycle. This incredibly liberating aspect comes along. It's kind of a last hooray before the end begins for Mars as it's about to go into its death cycle in Pisces. So with Uranus back in Aries, which Mars rules, we get lots of physical energy to go along with our ambitions coming from Uranus. Very strong today and the evening of the 14th. So you're really going to want to do whatever you want and don't feel like asking for permission. A lot of that real independent thinking already this week in the first quarter of this moon. I'm just noting that as I go through these interpretations. I keep noting these themes that are popping up and this whole issue of liberating yourself or getting liberated, moving yourself out of the system, thinking for yourself, able to direct yourself at will. It seems to be very strong this first quarter. So it's going to be a lot of independence, looking for unique expressions of your individuality, moving your body in new ways. We're very flexible, feeling enthusiastic about your process of evolution. So you're kind of into yourself. with this one, but probably in a good way with the sextile. Makes you want to make a step forward, whatever that means for you presently. But just a lot of confidence goes well with Jupiter entering Sagittarius. So all of these very positive, confidence-building aspects to go along with Jupiter entering Sagittarius at the start of the new moon cycle. And that will, this video will conclude with the moon square sun, the first quarter moon, and that'll be happening on the morning of Thursday. So that one is our usual crisis for fulfillment as we lay the foundation for this month's growth. So we're more sensitive now, as we are at all the squares, and in need of reassurance. Existing tensions at home or in a relationship come to the surface, and it's Scorpio to Aquarius. So you may feel inner conflict with the group that you're in or with your friends. Therefore, the issue of privileged information becomes important. It needs to be kept in trust, or it could ruin a friendship or cause you to lose an associate. As well, be cautious of others keeping secrets from you. Okay, so that concludes the first quarter for the new moon that began on the 7th. And I'll be having 3 more videos to go along with this. So this is basically part 1 of 4 for the new moon in November. So once again, if you're interested in an astrology reading, I'm running a special this month. I also do guided meditations over the phone and teach meditation to people. I teach meditation techniques and so forth. And I also do long-distance Reiki healings. So please contact me if you're interested. mobilestar7@yahoo.com and my WordPress weblog and my website. I'll leave links in the description. Well, once again, thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Many blessings and have a great day. I'll be putting out the next 3 installments of this new moon very shortly, so you'll be getting them within a week. Many blessings. Have a great day.